we met Setsu, who reincarnated himself into the real world, after fighting as a hero summoned to another world, but one day, his class is randomly summoned, and he finds himself in another world, but he still has all his powers since he was a hero. It seems that 5 years have passed since he disappeared and the war against demons has begun. He is back with his old friends, met his companions, who don't recognize him at first but are happy to have him back, but he worries that Toma is behind the new war, as he senses that the demons are being controlled by his cursed magic, and sets out to protect his friends. We see an old man arguing with his customer, who sells high-end jewelry of the highest quality in the entire kingdom, but he refuses to sell his items to a young man, who doesn't know their value. Proud as a craftsman, a buyer asks the price of a particular brooch, but the old man says it's not about money, it's about his pride. His granddaughter Rei appears asking about the commotion, and the man says their time is being wasted. It turns out to be Setsu from the past, and he offers a sack full of gold, causing the man to instantly change his mind. After Setsu leaves, Rei asks her grandpa about his pride as a craftsman, but he teaches her although pride is important, everything has a price. He ends up passing away, and after the funeral Ruri takes over to complete her grandpa's last job. She makes her way on a carriage at night, but the horse suddenly comes to a stop. A giant boar lunges at her and she is knocked to the ground. She was on her way to deliver the brooch, and is relieved to see it wasn't damaged. She puts it back into her bag, but finds that the boar is still there. She tries to negotiate with it, offering it food and even gold, but it's no use. However, she gets saved by Setsu, who happened to be passing by. He asks if she is okay, and she instantly offers to pay him. Setsu says it's not necessary, just happy to have helped her. But Rei was taught by her grandpa that nothing in life is free, but Setsu tells her not everything is about money, and Ruri seems to be reminded of the he-are from the past. Setsu wonders why she is transporting goods without a guard, but Ruri says she was in a rush, and couldn't find one in time. Setsu reminds her that money is no good if she dies and wishes her luck. Ruri asks him to be her guard, but Setsu says he is busy with his own mission. He begs him to take her as far as he can because she needs to deliver her package, and Setsu ends up agreeing to accompany her to the nearby port. They take her horse, but Ruri is sad she had to leave her other goods behind, thinking of all the money she is losing. Setsu asked about her package, but she refuses to show him even if he is her guard, saying it's too valuable. They make it to the port town, and Setsu is surprised to see how much it has grown. Ruri explains that after the war ended 5 years ago, trade started to boom and the town grew. She says that she hired a ship to carry her the rest of the way, but when she gets to the dock she finds her ship's trip has been cancelled, and that all the ships going to the demonic continent have been put on hold for the foreseeable future. Because of the war, Rei is determined not to give up, so she asks around all the other hips, but everyone thinks she is crazy, wanting to go to the demonic continent during a war. Setsu watches her, and decides he should help her out, but she is suddenly approached by some knights, who claim to be conducting poor inspections. They asked for her ID, and Ruri shows them her documents, but the knights look down on her, since she is a merchant, because they think she only cares about making money. They demand to see what's in her bag, but he refuses to show them, and they find him suspicious. They try to confiscate him, but Setsu starts to introduce himself as a security guard. He asks if they have a search warrant, but they tell him to mind his own business, if he knows what is good for him. Setsu refuses to back down, so they prepare to teach him a lesson, and Setsu throws them to fight him, but they start to attract people's attention, so the knights decide to let them go for now. Ruri gratefully jumped on him and asked how he owes her a lot, but he says he'll treat her to a meal, and Setsu praises her for being calm in such a situation. He wonders how she knew the rules of permission, and she learned a thing or two from Blan. Looks like he says that he will try to find a ship, and if necessary, Ruri will continue to search for him around the city or by him buying a ship himself. Setsu thinks that's nonsense and says that he's actually going to the demon continent, and he can take her if he can. In the end he agrees to rest. He tells her not to push herself so hard. Rei agrees, so they end up getting a room. Setsu tells her it's her turn to use the bath. Ruri asks her to watch his box. She is taking a bath, and Setsu wonders if everything is alright, but she tells him that she trusts him. Even when she shows him the brooch inside, she is surprised to see it, and Ruri explains that it was her grandfather's last work, that the brooch was her grandmother's most. There was someone who had valuable work, and one day brought it back for repairs. He did his best to fix it, but his health deteriorated, so he couldn't deliver it on his deathbed. He told Ruri that even though money was important, teaches that it is only because it allows you to protect yourself, the things that really matter, and sacrificing everything for that is true pride. It means that he entrusted him with his last job, regardless of what he promised. He left it with Setsu, goes to take a bath and reminds him not to steal our work money, but is happy to meet him, and happy that he is about to finish his grandfather's last work. Setsu examines the brooch and finds that the protection magic he used on it is broken, so he later worries for the person who gave it to him. At night when the two are sleeping, the knights come looking for them, accusing them of being demon spies, and approaching their room, but Setsu becomes aware of them. The knights come in and Ruri gets scared. They jump out the window and they run away, but the knights cut them off. Setsu jumps and keeps running. When Rei gets nervous, the knights follow but end up slipping on the bottles, which traps you, but they end up in a dead end, and the knights they chase Rory. They are confused about what they are going to do, but Setsu challenges the knights to fight, but Setsu gets angry and jumps off the edge. Rory thinks he is going to die, but something pops out of the water lad, and they land on a giant sea serpent, which summons Levia. The knights are shot when they see this, and Setsu Lavia tells them to head for the demon continent, as the knights wonder how they can report this, but the captain says it's all just a dream, so they said he had nothing to report. It's just short for Leviathan, the god of the ocean, and there's a bright light, and they arrive at the devil's continent, and he's shocked. And concludes part 2.